So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Hannah. I'm the digital media librarian here at the Bangor Public Library, and we're very happy to be hosting another in our series in partnership with SCORE. Today, we've got a lovely group of folks from different organizations around the state of Maine, all sort of dedicated in different ways to helping entrepreneurs and small business owners. And hopefully, we're going to demystify a little bit what all those different groups are, what are the differences between them, and how can they help you. We're just a small group, so I think we'll have plenty of time for questions if people have specific things that they want to know about. But to start out, I will hand it over to David Green from SCORE.
Thanks, Hannah. I'm David Green. I'm the chapter chair for SCORE in Northern Maine. Our mission, which we'll get into more when we have our individual presentations, is really to mentor small businesses and do small business training, of which this is one. We run about 2 a week on average. So it's great to have my partners here, with Ali from the Maine Small Business Development Center, Jim Macomber from MaineStream Finance, and Banjo from New Ventures Maine. So we're going to do a short presentation each on what we do. And as Hannah said, we do things, a lot of the same things, but we do things that we're all a little bit different as well. So you will be able to hear what it is we do, and when you need some small business support, some small business mentoring and help or funding, you'll know where to go. We do swap clients between each other. If we don't have the resources to help an entrepreneur, then we will be quite happy to send them to someone else in our network. So we do work together regularly. We do a lot of similar things. We do some different things. So I'd like to give each of us a few minutes to kind of introduce our organization, what it is we do, what might be unique about us, and I'll pass it back to Hannah to pick who goes first. Hannah is our moderator. She will handle the chat. She will ask people to speak up, etc. So I'm going to go into participant mode here rather than preaching at you like I usually do. Back to Hannah.
Well, I think that if anyone has a burning desire to go first, then they can definitely speak up. If not, then we can just kind of go in the order that y'all are showing on my screen, which would mean we're starting with Jim.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Macomber with Penquis and MaineStream Finance. I'm a business advisor, HUD housing counselor, and financial coach. And MaineStream Finance and Penquis has been doing entrepreneur development, helping people with their business plans, and then also being able to do some financing. That's one of the, and it really works well for somebody that doesn't have a great credit score, has a few credit issues to work through. We can work with them, possibly finance their business idea. We do a lot of financing of startups, which the banks don't normally like to touch because it's a high risk situation. So, and then I'll turn it over to Ali for her introduction.
Sure. Thanks, Jim. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Ali Lane. I'm a business advisor and the Central Northern Maine Center Director of the Maine Small Business Development Center. One of the many acronyms. So right in my name line here, you'll see SBDC, Small Business Development Center. I've just got a few quick slides for those of you that are visual, just to see what we do. So we're the Maine SBDC. There are SBDCs all around the country, but we all run independently. So this is just about the Maine team. I can make my slide change. There we go. That's me. So I've been an advisor for about 6 years now, serving the Bangor, Ellsworth, and Belfast region. I believe Hannah maybe can send these slides out after, or if you're watching a recording of this, my contact information is right there on the screen. So email is a great way to reach me. So I have 12 to 14 colleagues around the state, depending on sort of any given time. I think right now we're actually at 13. We offer no-cost confidential general business advising to folks who are either starting businesses or running their businesses. I spend 80% of my day meeting with people one-on-one. So that is really our bread and butter, is that we can go deep with you. I do service a large territory, so I do have quite a few clients that I'm juggling, but I think you'll be pleased that I give you the time and attention. I may have to book you out 2 weeks to meet, but I will give you the time and attention that you deserve and really understand your business. I do have colleagues statewide in other areas, so sometimes we draw off them for other information, or if you're located outside of my territory, or if you want to meet virtually, you know, we've got a network of, well, the 13 of us full-time advisors. We can meet virtually or in person. I have meeting spaces in Bangor, Old Town, Orono, and Ellsworth, and can also come to you. The SBDC is a sort of a government program, so we have to be hosted by other organizations. So that's why I have a maine.edu email address. I technically work for the University of Southern Maine. They're just what we refer to as our host. We work with for-profit small businesses. I'd say most of my clients are 10 employees or less. I also work with a lot of solopreneurs. So just, you know, if it's just you and your business or starting your business, that's okay. You don't have to have employees. We work with folks who are starting businesses, buying businesses, trying to exit their businesses. Very much sort of generalist, covering the whole gamut. You do have to be Maine-based. You do have to be a for-profit. We work with almost all industries. There's a couple of limitations. We are partly federally funded, so we can't work with cannabis businesses, for example. And what we do, like I said, no cost, confidential, one-on-one advising. We help folks with business plans, financial projections. You know, maybe you come to me and say, I need more demand. Can we talk about marketing? I'm having some trouble with my staff. Can we talk about human resources? We are very much generalists. We're supposed to know a little bit about a lot of different things, and also know where to point you if you need deeper knowledge than what we can offer. And we do get a lot of referrals from lenders who are requesting things of you that, you know, you need a loan and they need things from you like financial projections, and you need help really, you know, mapping those out. That's something we get a lot of referrals from, and we're happy to help with. Happy to help kind of translate for you to the people that they're using language and asking for things that you don't know what it is. Come to us and hopefully we can help you translate, and it won't cost you anything. One thing that's really important to us is the integrity of our results. So we do have to report back to our funding sources that we're doing something, that we're serving the economy and using your tax dollars wisely. But we only report data that's coming directly from our clients. So unless you've told us you are helpful and here's what we did, we aren't reporting that. So these are just our results from last year. What our team did, the number of advising hours. So for example, I'm supposed to advise about 800 hours a year with clients. We served almost 2,300 clients, and we track some of these other metrics, like how many dollars get put back into the economy for every client that says we were helpful. We track some numbers. We'll ask you for some survey data at some point, as you know, again, as we're helpful. That's sort of what we ask for in payment, quote unquote. If sometimes people say you're free, what's the catch? This is the catch, is that we try to track data to let them know we're doing something. And if you want to work with us, MaineSBDC.org, there's a big orange button that says request advising. You can select that. If you specifically like to work with me, you can select my name when it gets to that part. Otherwise, you'll be paired with an advisor who's regionally closest to you, which is probably me anyway. If you do look at the bios on our website, you might see another advisor that specializes in what you'd like to work with, or you may chat with me and say, hey, I really want to connect with someone who knows this, and maybe there's someone that's a better fit. Anyway, this is where you get started, that request advising button. If you want to poke around, we also have a YouTube channel with quite a few recorded webinars of information. The little video you're seeing in the bottom left is a great 2-minute summary of what I said here. Stephanie in the video may do a better job and will be a little bit more brief than me. So check that out if you'd like. And again, if you're watching the recording or you get these slides, other ways to keep in touch with us are here. And I don't know, Hannah, do we want to take questions at the end, or
let's let everybody go through their little portion and then kind of do a round of questions at the end, because I think some of it might be questions that you could answer, but also David could answer. So before we move, thank you, Allie. I think you did great. before we move on to Banjo, let's circle back to Jim because I think he has some more info to share about in a little bit more detail about MaineStream Finance.
Okay, thank you. I got to pull some slides up here. Bear with me just a second.
It did feel like you passed the baton to me a little quickly.
I
was
thought
like,
we were just doing quick intros. That's what I was
oh,
doing. That's why.
were we? I'm sorry
No,
if I messed that up.
That's all right. So, like I said, I'm Jim Macomber with Penquis and MaineStream Finance. Penquis has been around a long time. It's a social service agency. MaineStream Finance has been around for over 20 years, doing lending, helping people, helping work on their credit, helping entrepreneurs get started or expand. So some of our business advising services, we have business advisors on staff. We'll help you build a business plan. We'll help you develop those financial projections. We offer business trainings all during the year. We work with startups, new businesses and existing businesses, as well as those that may decide that they want to sell their business. We do business loans up to $250,000. And that can be for, real estate. It can be for all the things that you need to get started. We also do gap financing. So if you're doing a bigger project or you're working with a bank, but you don't have enough for that down payment, that they're requiring 25% and you only have 15%, we may be able to come in with that 10% to make that gap fill in for you and make the deal work well. I've been doing this work for over 20 years with MaineStream Finance. I've owned several businesses in my lifetime, just like Alison had her business. We do lots of things. And the biggest thing you want to remember with this group that you're seeing here today is it doesn't matter what door you come through. We'll connect you to the right person, whether it be in our own organization or one of the other organizations. And as David said, a lot of times we share clients back and forth because you've got some expertise in one area and we're working with you in another area, and that's okay. And we can help put all those pieces together. So we're here, we're in the Bangor region. I work statewide, and we can connect you with other people statewide and other programs depending on what you're looking to do, and help you structure those things to get you ready if you're going to apply for a loan, because that's a process. So we want to help you do all those things, build the business plan, build the financial projections, make sure you have the story to go behind your business, pulling all that information out of your brain where most people's business plans sit. And Ellie and I and others have always had to try to pull that information out and help you put it into a plan, because that's the piece of paper that's going to show who you are. You may not be meeting with that bank committee. So we're here as assets for you. Our services are free as well. The same payment arrangement kind of works among all of us. We collect data from you so that we can report out what we were able to do with the grant dollars that were given to us to help small business in Maine. And that's it from me on the short version.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about part of this presentation is about understanding a little bit about the similarities and differences between these organizations. But even if you don't remember a single thing from today, just reach out to anybody and they will point you in the right direction, right? Banjo, would you like to share a little bit about what you do at New Ventures Maine next?
Yes, please. Let me quickly share my screen.
Let me know if it's giving you any trouble. There we go.
Oh, come in. Yeah. So how's it looking over there?
Looking great.
Great. So good afternoon, everyone. We are New Ventures Maine, and then we offer tools for you to be able to take the next step in your entrepreneurship journey. So my name is Banjo Ogunlela. I work with New Ventures Maine as a microenterprise specialist, covering the north central and down east of the state. Although we are a statewide, organization. So we cover the hostel, but we have people covering different regions. And that is my phone number and email. So New Ventures Maine has been here since 1978. And we have been helping, the main people for them to be able to achieve, their goals. So our mission is to help Maine people succeed in the changing economy, for them to be able to achieve economic security for themselves and their families. And we do that, through different classes in different areas. So we have three major, program areas. The first one is the area of finance. That means money management. The next one is the workforce development. And the third one is the small business environment. And so New Ventures Maine also, is a unit under the University of Maine at Augusta. So we are directly under the university as a unit. So I'm going to quickly touch on the microenterprise area, and then briefly touch on the other two areas, which is the money management and then the workforce development. So we offer training and classes and workshops, for small businesses across Maine, and below are the different classes, that we offer. And whatever we do at New Ventures Maine is totally free. And so you are free to enroll for as many as possible. So the first one is the business basics. Second one, exploring self-employment, tax readiness for self-employed, business success, work for yourself at 50 plus, then build your business website and venture for. So I'm going to quickly run through each one so that you can have a fair understanding of what it entails. So for self-employment, it helps you to decide whether it is the right time for you to start a business, and then the right choice of starting a business. Remember, it's not everybody that may be a business owner, but this class will help you to be able to begin to evaluate all those things that you need to know about starting a business. Then business basics is a 3 weeks class, 1 hour, 30 minutes per week. And so it goes beyond the exploring self-employment. It helps you to, kind of look at what a business plan is, just at the periphery, not in detail. What are those elements that could make up a business plan, so that you can begin to think around what you may need to start considering for you to start building your business plan. We don't, help participants to develop business, plans, but we can guide you on those things that you need to look out for, through this class. And so it's suitable for those who are thinking about, starting their business, or those who are in the early stage of their business. So tax readiness for self-employed. So this is a workshop, 1 hour workshop that helps you to think around what you need to have for you to be able to file your taxes. Then it will help you to understand how you can organize your financial records, and then understand your tax obligation as an entrepreneur. And then we'll show you a few of those forms that you need to complete, so that you can become familiar with those forms and then be ready to file your taxes when it is time for you to do that. Then business success series. These are specific to a particular area of business. So for example, if you are not interested in the general business basics, you just want to know something about bookkeeping, then you can enroll just for that, so that you learn how to keep your records for your business. And then if you're interested in cash flow projection, this is tailored towards that specifically. And same goes for marketing strategy, and then pricing and break even. Then we have develop your business website. So we do this in partnership with Empower by GoDaddy. And so it's a kind of self-paced class, 10 different courses that you do on your own. And then you have the opportunity to be able to develop your own website. So Empower will give you free domain name, free branded email, and then you have the opportunity to host your website for 2 years free of charge. And then you kind of get support from time to time. And then also at the expiration of the first 2 years, Empower will still continue to host your website for you for another 6 years, but at half the price. So it's a very good class for those who intend to showcase their business digitally. That means online. Then another one is Work for Yourself at 50 plus. So this class is tailored towards people who are 50 years and above. And we do that in partnership with ARP Foundation. So this is for people who may be planning to retire and they are still not tired. They want to do something, for themselves. So this will help them to be able to evaluate what are those traits of an entrepreneur, what are the different skills that they need to have, and then for them to also be able to begin to understand better what they can do as a person. And also for those who are retired who also want to continue to work for themselves. Then we have another class called Venturing Forth. This is a complete business planning class. So it runs for 60 hours, 12 weeks, full day, 1 day per week, from 9:30 to 2:30, on a specific date during the month, during the week. So either Thursday or Tuesday. And so we'll cover every area that an entrepreneur needs to know about starting up a business and managing a business. So we'll help them to be able to begin to think around who their customers are, their market environment, record keeping, taxes, finances, legal consideration, and several other things that makes up, a business, activity that can help them. And so the outcome of this is for them to be able to develop a business plan, which they can begin to use to either start their business or begin to upscale their business. So for the workforce, we have these classes, My Next Career Move, Exploring Career, Building Confidence and Resume, and Interview, process. Then asset development, that is finance, manage your money. We have budgeting basics. Let's talk about credit, build your savings, and then your money personality. So then we have match savings. So match savings, we have two different types. For now, I won't talk much about the family development account because it's a federally funded, program, which, they are putting a halt on for now. So, but I will talk about the rainy day savings account. This is a type of account that eligible people, will open with a specific bank, that will have arrangement with, and they have the opportunity to save up to $400 in 6 months, and then we'll match it with another $400 for them to be able to attend to emergencies or whatever, thing that they want to do that falls within the program. And so for each month, the participant will save a specific amount, but it must not exceed $400 at the expiration of the program, which is 6 months, and then they can cash out once they're ready. Then also one of the criteria is for them to go through the money management training, for example, budgeting basics, and then My Money Works. So other resources are here. Then there's another program that we do in conjunction with different partners across the state. We call it Cash Maine, and it's a service whereby volunteers assist people to file their taxes free of charge annually for them to get their tax return. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Banjo. David, would you like to take us home with a little bit more about SCORE? You're still muted.
Yes, I would. Let me find my let me find my slides here. And here we go. All right. Can you see my slides?
Doesn't look like you're in presenter mode yet, but we're seeing
Yeah,
them.
yeah, there we go.
Oh, there we are. Yep, great.
Okay, so everyone who's presented so far is part of a larger organization. So for SCORE, we're part of the Small Business Administration, or the SBA. So our mission is to foster vibrant small business communities through mentoring and education. So mentoring is what we're probably best known for, but we also run about two training workshops a week in Maine, and our national organization, SCORE, runs them probably every day on something that's relevant to small businesses, and they're all recorded, so people can, browse and find out, what they need in the way of, business training, and they can sign up and take it at pretty much any time. So in Maine, there's 110, 112 mentors at this point in time. In northern Maine, which is, well, it's a big territory, north to south, it's over 300 miles, all the way from the Canadian border down to Knox County. We have about 20, maybe 25 mentors. So our mentors are, SCORE stands for Service Corps for Retired Executives. We've been in business for 60 years now, and most of us have had a big job. We've managed our own companies, or we've had something significant in the corporate world. In my case, I had about 40 years in the corporate world, retired about 20 years ago, started my own business. So like half the mentors in northern Maine, I'm still in business, doing business consulting for pay, doing leadership development and executive coaching. So most of us are still working part-time. So who we serve, similar to what everybody else has said, nationally, 43% of our clients are in operation. So that's often people who say, okay, I've kind of plateaued out. I need to grow. I need to take on some employees, or even, I've been in business for 30 years, 40 years. I need to retire. I need to sell my business. So we will help them, value their business and help them sell the business. So 43% in operation, about a third are kind of pre-startups, and so that's people saying, I'd like to start a business. I'm thinking of opening a restaurant, or I'm thinking of becoming a farmer, or I'm thinking of going in the trades somewhere. So we, a third of them are thinking about starting a business, and about another third or thereabouts have started a business. And they found out it's not as easy as they thought it would be. It's more work. They may be working all the time, and or they may need some help to say, okay, I want to hire my first employee. How do I go about doing that? Or I'm not getting much traction in marketing. How do I how do I get the word out better to other people? So that's our kind of the landscape of who we work for, who we help. I think it might be different from some of the other groups. Is we have some depth and subject matter expertise. So we do have people who have spent their life doing human resources, or they've spent their life doing marketing, or they've been buying and selling businesses. And so when generalists like myself come across that and say, oh, let me find somebody who's going to help with that. We've worked on the business plan. There's some gaps in what you want to do. So let me bring in a subject matter expert. If we have them in northern Maine, that's great. Might be somewhere else in Maine, or I've occasionally brought in people from Florida or California to help, who are subject matter experts in something that's a pretty niche kind of business. So last year, 110 webinars, 2,600 people attended, mentored almost 4,500 people, and over 19,000 hours from our from our mentors in Maine alone. And for the results, we don't monitor our own results. We have PricewaterhouseCoopers who do this once a year. They contact all our clients who we've worked with in the last fiscal year, and we're very proud to say that in 2024, over 560 new businesses were started in Maine, and over 1,700 jobs were created. So that's non-business owner jobs created in Maine. So so most of us are journalists. We have the depth and the subject matter expertise. We don't handle money like some of the other groups do. But we will help with business plans. We will help with cash flow, and help people to find a lender who will help them with the money. Personally, probably 90% of the people I work with are going to be self-funding. So we tend to be working with smaller organizations, and they're going to be self-funding. They may have a day job and say, I'm going to start off working weekends and evenings to get going, and then when I have enough traction, I will leave my day job and I will get going. So the one-stop shop for anything to do with SCORE. If you want a business mentor, you can select one, or you can say, I need help with this. And our intake coordinator, a guy called Jasper, who's down in the Portland area, finds the best fit, who finds a mentor who specializes in the area that the applicant or the new client wants. So we match people up with people who are have the right skills, the right background to be able to help people. So score.org, you can find a mentor there. You can find templates there, to get going in your own, or you can find the training, either national training or Maine-based training, like what we're doing right now. So that is my story. Thank you. I will stop sharing.
Thanks, David. Well, we've got some time if we want to open it up for questions. I want to start with anybody who's on the call. If any of you all have questions, either specific for one of these presenters based on something you heard them talk about, or in general, like, hey, I want to do this, who should I talk to? You can go ahead and unmute and speak up. Art, did you have something you want to ask?
Yeah, I don't know if this is directly or not applicable to everybody, but should we be worried about the federal government lessening the funding for SBDC and SBA, or are we okay?
I can say that we were worried about that for SCORE because we're part of the Small Business Administration, but we are fully funded after the continuing resolution that happened back in March or April. We are fully funded for the next year, and it is free. We're all volunteers, so we don't cost much anyway.
Right. I've been qualified for an SBA 504. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on it because I can't find a building. But I was qualified a year ago, so I don't know what that means. I've been working with Jeff Gray out of SCORE.
Oh yeah, Jeff's a good guy.
Yeah. So okay. Well, thank you.
I would just add, I mean, SBDC is under the SBA as well, and I think we do cost a little more than SCORE. And I mean, yeah, who knows? It's on our radar for sure. We're paying attention, but anybody's guess is as good as mine, what's going forward. But we're still operating fully. We're doing everything we normally do. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And then on the MaineStream side, we have different pots of funding for lending. So that makes up that difference. There's some government money, but most of the money we have that's available to lend is lent to us by financial institutions. And we're also what's called a CDFI, so we're a Community Development Financial Institution. So the banking rules are a little different with that and a little bit more flexible than a traditional bank would be. So.
Other questions from folks on the call? Feel free to get specific if you've got a particular business that you're running or thinking of running.
Just one thought, just sorry for Art, I know you mentioned the 504. To kind of keep tabs on what's going on with the 504 program and, processing times and how it's going to be impacted by federal funding changes. You can reach out directly to the SBA team in Maine. Diane Sturgeon is the SBA district. Oof, somebody give me the correct title. She's the head of the SBA in Maine, basically. And she also handles all of their lending relations matters. So if you want to kind of keep tabs on the 504 program and thoughts I would say don't hesitate to reach directly out to the SBA Maine team like Diane Sturgeon, because even though it's a federal program, the SBA, so it may not seem approachable, the folks in Maine are, and any of us can help kind of get you those names and contact information if you'd like, or they may be posted on the SBA website as well.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we've been working with, I forget his name, out of Granite State.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I just had kind of forgot about it. Then I saw this forum and I thought, oh, I should ask. So, because my problem is, I mean, this is not an excuse, but I feel like all the pot shops are buying all the little buildings that I'd like to buy. So.
Yeah, I get it. Real estate has been a problem for a lot of my clients too. It seems like location, it can become the biggest barrier, and it's so important, obviously. So yeah, understood.
Yeah, I'd like to give a pitch for what New Ventures does with the training programs, because I've had a few clients who come in and say, well, I did this training with New Ventures a year ago or 2 years ago, and so they come in with a business plan already done that's maybe a bit out of date, and it's maybe not current, and there's some gaps in it, but they're 80% of the way there, and it makes life much easier for whoever's mentoring them. And you probably find the same thing, Ali and James as well, that if somebody comes in who has had some business training, knows what business is all about, and have the basics of a business plan, it's much easier to help them.
I've also had folks come to me that have been through venturing forth, and I think people learn well in different situations. And if I think the classroom setting and having peers around and having an instructor is a great way for many of our clients to learn. And then when they're ready to go deeper with a mentor or advisor, they come to other organizations or they work directly with Banjo. So I agree with David. I think sort of knowing your learning style, maybe trying out some different things, trying out some different organizations, finding that right fit. Never hurts to kind of, dip your toe in the water with all the resources.
And I would second all of that.
Jared, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. First, thank you all for taking your time out of this day, this beautiful day outside, to share your resources and be a support for those who really need it. And I'm actually, one thing I'm wondering is where this webinar may be stored after we get off the line, so that way I'm able to also revisit it. And then also I'm working on, I've started founding a nonprofit. We're actually going to be like a joint venture, helping people who struggled with substance use, substance misuse, co-occurring disorders, and mental health challenges. and we're going to be moving forward with support center and also treatment center. And that's one of the, I really need to start to extract all that information, and I do best with structured time. So any suggestions on who or which resource might be most helpful for me to actually really set that structured time and hone in on my focus with the plan?
Jared, I would be able to help you with that. We've been working with several people on recovery houses and the recovery field itself. So I've got some experiences, some templates already built out, so that we would be more than willing to help you through that process. And we kind of understand the funding lines of that, where there's multiple funding lines depending on how you're setting up. So go ahead and reach out to me and we can schedule a time to get together if you'd like. But others have resources as well, so.
So since I'm driving at the moment, is there any chance you'd be willing to shoot me an email?
Sure, but I
I
think
can
Hannah's gonna
connect you
send the
guys. Yeah,
Okay,
I've got
perfect.
the registration list, Jared, so I can connect you guys after the fact. And for this particular event, the recording's going to be, I'll email it out along with everybody's slides to everyone who is registered, and it'll also be included on the Bangor Public Library's YouTube channel, so you can always find it there. And then, yeah, of course, all these other organizations have their own websites with additional resources as well. David, did you have more to add for Jared?
Yes. Yeah, in SCORE, we have someone in Southwest Harbour, a guy called Dennis Wint, who specializes in nonprofits. In fact, he only works with nonprofits, and he's great. You know, he's worked in nonprofits all his life. He's probably in his 70s now, but you know, I've partnered with him in a couple of nonprofits, and you know, the substance abuse world is you know, something that we get a lot of a lot of inquiries about doing that. So we have a specialist who can help, Jared. You know, if you go to score.org and you know describe what it is that you want to have, then you'll get matched up with Dennis.
Yes, thank you. And I did have a SCORE mentor, Amy Kimball, and you know, she ended up going out on leave for she had a baby, and they ended up connecting me with some gentleman. Just at the time, a lot was going on. I really wasn't able to do much with him. So I would like to continue and connect with whoever I can.
Yeah, Amy's had her baby and she's back, you know, working, and she's mentoring for SCORE. So if you wanted to contact Amy again, you could maybe able to pick up where you left off.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Right. Yeah, it's great that some of these organizations are able to help nonprofits in addition to businesses. You know, as we discussed, some of you all have different stipulations based on your structure and where your funding's coming from, but it's just excellent that, you know, there's a lot of overlap in those two industries. So it's good to be able to make use of some of the same resources. Right. Any other questions from the folks on the call? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. I'm trying to keep an eye on that. Folks are welcome to type something in there if you'd prefer, or just unmute yourself and speak right up. And if we don't have any last questions, are there any sort of closing remarks or comments or thoughts that any of our presenters would like to share?
I think the most important thing for people to remember on the call or watching the video later, it doesn't matter which door you come in with this crew of people that you've got here. We work together really well. We're not territorial. So we'll help you get that connection, help you get that resource that you need. So you can come to any of us and we will help to connect you up with what you need and other assistance that you might need. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to us.
Absolutely. Great point, as ever. All right. Well, I think that we can wrap up there if there's no further questions. Like I said, I'll be sending out this recording to everybody who registered. And I think I've already got slides from David and Jim, but Banjo and Ali, if you want to share your slides with me by email, I'll drop you a quick email after the call and we'll get everything packaged up together and sent out to everyone who signed up. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you again to our presenters for the great information and all the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day.
You too.